So today I wanted to keep the Oscar talk alive a little bit and do it in a sort of objective manner. I've been giving my opinions on the Oscar nominations and who I think is going to win, and even my own personal ranking of all 8 Best Picture nominees. But today I wanted to view it through an objective eye and rank the Best Pictures objectively using critic and audience scores. And what I did to formulate these numbers, you take critic ratings and audience ratings, like take Metacritic score, the Rotten Tomato score, not just the tomato meter score, but what critics gave it. So let's say if Black Panther has like a 95%, you look at what the critics actually rated it out of 10, which I think the average rating was like an 8.3 out of 10. So you take that rating, and then of course you go to IMDb, which is largely audience ratings, where it's thousands and thousands and millions of people, audience members, have rated those. So I'm ranking these through an objective lens. So let's get started. At number 8, I have Bohemian Rhapsody with a score of 64. I think like its Metacritic score is like a 49, but you gotta take into consideration this is it has a huge fan base. Like this is definitely a crowd-pleasing movie. And its IMDb score was like a 8.3 out of 10. I think its average Rotten Tomato score was maybe like a 6.1 out of 10. It comes down to a 64. So yeah, that's number 8. People know how I feel about this movie. Number 8 is a lot of people's favorite out of all these. It was the most popular movie out of all these. But yeah, that IMDb score is pretty high. I think it had the highest IMDb score out of any of these. At number 7, I have Vice with a 66. And this is I think this was like my number 3 favorite movie. But I can definitely tell that it is quite divisive, especially with its political agenda. But yeah, 66, that's pretty average. That's about what critics were giving it. It ranges from critics giving it like a 30 to critics giving it like 100, you know, so it was a very divisive movie. That 66 definitely makes sense to me. Number 6, I have Green Book with a 75, and apparently Green Book's like the second frontrunner for Best Picture, which is whatever, that's cool I guess, but it didn't get the most amazing reviews. Pretty middle of the road. 75 isn't anything special. At number 5, I have BLACKKKLANSMAN, which ended up with an 80. Yet again, pretty across the board, people giving it an 8 out of 10. Its Rotten Tomato score is like a 95. That's not representative of the scores it was getting. Not many people was giving it like a 9.5 out of 10. Mostly like 8 to 8.5 out of 10. At number 4, I have Black Panther. Ended up with a score of 82. And this is one of those cases where the critics actually did give it a little bit better reviews than this. It had like an 88 on Metacritic, but the audience score, you know, that this movie, a lot of people like to hate on this movie. It had like a 7.5 on IMDb, which is kind of low for like a Marvel movie. And I just want to point this out there. If you don't love Black Panther, it doesn't make you a racist, and if you love Black Panther, it doesn't make you a social justice warrior. Movies are more complex than that. There's a lot of things that go into what makes a movie good and what makes a movie bad and what makes a movie okay. And it's okay if you loved it, and it's okay if you didn't love it. Number 3, I have A Star Is Born, ended up with a score of 83. If you would have asked me in October what's going to win Best Picture, I would probably would have said A Star Is Born. But apparently there has been a little bit of a backlash with this movie. I don't know why. Maybe people have caught on that maybe it's not quite as amazing as they thought. It's still very good. But yeah, that 83, pretty representative of what people are giving it across the board. I think fans liked it a lot more when it came out, and then Bohemian Rhapsody came out, so they gravitated towards that. Number 2, I have The Favorite, which is an 84. That's actually a little bit lower than I was expecting, but I think this is such an art house film that audience score on IMDb kind of brought this one down compared to like its critic scores. Has like a 90 on Metacritic. So yeah, the 84 took me by surprise. I was expecting a higher score. And number 1, no surprise, is Roma, which is what is expected to win. It has an 88. And even if audiences don't love as much as the critics scores were so high that it still almost reached that 90 territory. Yet again, I still think this is gonna win. But yeah, I thought maybe when I was doing this ranking, A Star Is Born would actually end up being number 1, and The Favorite would maybe Roma would end up being maybe 3 or 4, because I thought the audience scores would be so low, because I know a lot of people probably watched about 15-20 minutes of it and just turned it off. And I get that. It's not for everybody. But yeah, that's my, I guess, objective ranking. Yeah, I know some people will still view it as not objective, but I'm literally just taking other people's scores and combining them to make a top 8 of the Best Picture nominees. So, do you agree with this objective list here? And I'm sure that this wasn't my personal list. My top 2 were similar. I just would have switched The Favorite and Roma. Do you agree with this list? Do you not agree with the list? What would you have at number 1? Would you have Bohemian Rhapsody at number 1? Would you have Black Panther at number 1? Would you have Black Panther at number 15? Like I know a lot of people would have it as. Leave a comment below, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching.